Tonight, we're tracking a report in the New York Times that the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein may have left a suicide note after an earlier incident about 3 weeks before his death. But that note has been sealed in a separate case for nearly 7 years and out of public view. What did it say? Meg Oliver joins us now. Meg, good evening. What have we learned?
Tony, good evening. It was after Jeffrey Epstein's first alleged suicide attempt in July 2019 that his cellmate discovered a possible suicide note written by Epstein tucked in a novel, according to the New York Times. That cellmate is Nicholas Tartaglione, a former police officer then accused and later convicted of killing 4 people. Epstein was moved to another cell where he was found dead weeks later. The alleged note was at some point sealed by a federal judge as part of Tartaglione's criminal case. And for nearly 7 years, its existence was unknown, locked up in a New York courthouse. In a podcast last year, Tartaglione talked about the note. Epstein allegedly wrote that investigators had scrutinized him for months and found nothing, and that it was, quote, time to say goodbye.
Also wrote this: I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I read the manifesto. You know, he's a sick person. But you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I was never,
words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace.
This is crazy. The Trump administration has been forced to pay over $166 billion in refunds to American companies. This is the largest refund in human history, and it's being paid for by you, the American taxpayer. So Trump is being forced to issue these refunds because of his tariffs, which were ruled illegal by the Supreme Court. For those that don't know, a tariff is a tax on an import. So when these tariffs were in place, if an American company wanted to import the goods they sell or the raw materials required to produce the goods that they sell into America, they would have to pay our government a chunk of change just to get them across the border. But because they were ruled illegal, all that money they paid is now going to go back to them, plus interest. But here's the issue. American companies didn't just eat the cost of Trump's tariffs, they passed it off to the American people. This study conducted by Goldman Sachs says that by the end of 2025, 55% of Trump's tariff tax was paid for directly by the American consumers, which is approximately $91 billion that isn't being given back to us, the American people, but is rather being given back to the American companies that took it from us in the first place. So in summation, Trump implemented an illegal tax that was paid for by American companies, but then the American companies passed majority of that tax off to the American people. And now that Trump is refunding that illegal tax, he's giving 100% of the proceeds to the American companies, including the $91 billion directly paid for by the American people. That's what wealth redistribution from the working class to the ruling elite looks like. That's all for now. I'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Okay, here we go again. A gunman is in custody after carrying out a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Here are the 3 things that you need to know. Firstly, location. Now, this happened at a huge annual event in the Washington Hilton Hotel, and attending were hundreds of reporters, officials, public figures, and of course, Trump, Melania, J.D. Vance, Erica Kirk, etc. Now, this is actually the same hotel that President Ronald Reagan was shot and nearly killed 45 years ago. Second point, what the hell happened? Well, according to reports, a lone gunman who was armed with multiple weapons, including a handgun, shotgun, multiple knives, etc., bro just tried to storm the security checkpoint. You can see actually videos of him just trying to run through. And about 8 shots were fired. He fired his weapon. Secret Service fired their weapons towards him. He wasn't hit. One of the bullets did hit a Secret Service agent, but it hit his bulletproof vest and he is okay. Now, the suspect quickly was arrested and Trump and all other officials were evacuated. There's footage of that too. Third point that you need to know, who the hell is this guy? Well, he has been identified as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, from California. He was a guest at the hotel that the event was taking place, and he worked as a part-time teacher and video game developer. According to CNN, he even won Teacher of the Month from his employer. The FBI is already raiding his home in LA, and they say that he was attempting to target Trump officials and cause a, quote, national tragedy. Now, he will be arraigned in court on Monday, where he faces 2 charges. If anything else comes out, I'll keep you guys updated.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is praising soldiers who carried out suicide attacks on the battlefield in Ukraine. He gave a speech glorifying those who unhesitatingly opted for self-blasting rather than risk being taken prisoner. That means blowing themselves up. There's disturbing video from the Ukrainian military last year showing an injured North Korean soldier detonating a grenade under his chin. South Korean officials say his last words were shouting the name of his leader, Kim Jong-un. In his speech, Kim called that kind of sacrifice the highest form of loyalty. For months, North Korean and Russian state media have been touting these kinds of soldier deaths. Now there's this new memorial in Pyongyang showing the scale of North Korea's involvement in Russia's war. More than 2,000 names on its walls, hundreds of graves, and space for many more. A sign perhaps that more North Korean troops may be headed to the front lines of Ukraine. And this may be just the beginning.